Yes, sir. We can start now, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. So I would be very, very grateful if everyone would mute their microphones, and the reason why is I have frequency induced tremors, and the frequencies of all the bodies I can feel, and they cause me to tremor. So it's one of the things that I get to deal with, which is kind of fun because I'm a technology guy. But I would be grateful if everyone muted their microphones. That would help me get through this. So I appreciate it. Thank you for that. All right. Well, my name is Joshua, and I'm really honored to be here. Someone raise their hand. Okay. Do you want to ask a question?
Was a mistake.
You go ahead.
It's mistake.
Was there a question? Is there a question? Oh. Okay. All right. Please mute your microphone if you're not going to ask a question. And I will take questions at the end. So if you could save them, I would appreciate it. Again, I have to stress, I can't stress this enough. Unfortunately, your microphones feel like electricity inside my body. That's why I'm asking you to mute them. So thank you very much for doing that for me. Like it's a very strange condition, I understand, and it's very weird to explain, but it is what it is. All right, my name is Joshua, and I'm very honored to be here. What I'm going to share with you today is kind of an overview of a lot of information. I have a free gift for every single one of you that is the foundational principles, and it will go into more detail and give every bit of research to support everything I say today. Some of you are going to be familiar with what I say. Others, you're going to be like, you're going to think I'm crazy. Either way, that's fine. But everything I'm teaching you is backed up by over 25 years of research. There's data, there's science, there's all kinds of things that are going to back up and support what I say. But most importantly, I want to say this. You all have a really big opportunity right now. And I'm talking to you all where you are right now in Africa. You all have an amazing opportunity. And I hope that this presentation starts to open your eyes to some of the possibilities. But I want to tell you that regardless of some of the disadvantages of a lot of the disadvantages that you all have had compared to people in Western countries like where I live in the United States, I'm telling you right now, the world is set up for you all to succeed and to have all of your dreams come true. And that is not a bullcrap. I'm not blowing smoke up your butt to use, I don't even know where that expression came from, but I'm telling you the truth. You were created for an amazing purpose, and your time is now. The opportunity is now for you all. So thank you for being here. I'm going to get into the presentation now. I get very passionate about this subject, so it was probably necessary that I used a PowerPoint. I'm going to give you all access to this link, and it also has your free gift on it as well. All right, let's get into this. Okay. So this presentation is Social Entrepreneurship in the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure and an honor to speak with such a dynamic group of changemakers and aspiring social entrepreneurs. Today, we'll explore how we can uplift the underserved, revitalize our communities, and ultimately transform our world for the better, one collaboration at a time. Our conversation will weave together several different critical themes: the importance of collaboration, the power of media for collective benefit, the role of intellectual property in safeguarding innovation, like protecting your ideas, and the practical steps each of us can take to harness the tools already at our fingertips. These tools that I'm speaking of are widely accessible, and you don't need money to gain them. And one thing that I will talk about later, again, is even if you don't have a laptop, if you only have a mobile phone, you can take advantage of this opportunity and it won't cost you any money. Anyway, my hope is at the end of this session, you will not only feel empowered to pursue your unique vision, but you'll also be inspired to collaborate with others so that our individual endeavors amplify each other's impact. Recognizing the underserved and their potential. Let us begin with a truth that underpins the work of social entrepreneurs everywhere. Far too many people around the world remain underserved and underrepresented. The reality is not limited to any one continent or country. It is a global phenomenon. Whether it's a community in a rural village lacking basic infrastructure, an inner city neighborhood without adequate educational resources, or a demographic group that faces systematic barriers to employment, these underserved populations exist in every corner of the globe. Yet hidden within their challenges is immense potential. Consider the story of M-Pesa, and I may have said that wrong, apologize. In Kenya, this mobile money platform was launched to aid individuals who lacked access to traditional banking services. The founders recognized that people in remote and underserved areas still had mobile phones, and with a bit of entrepreneurial insight, mobile technology became a bridge to financial empowerment. Quite literally, I have another book that's free that you can find on my website. It's called Empowering the Underserved. That book is free for you all. I have it for anyone, and it literally teaches you how to run a media organization, which is essentially saying run any business, because any business is going to have to use media to operate successfully. So this will teach anyone how to run a business, a media organization with multiple revenue streams from a mobile phone. Anyone can do it. The power of collaboration to ignite change. Collaboration is the catalyst for change. Alone, we can accomplish many things, but together, we can transcend our own limitations and reach entirely new heights. When individuals, businesses, NGOs, and governments come together around a shared purpose, especially when that purpose is uplifting marginalized or underserved communities, our capacity for impact grows exponentially. Okay, I'm not going to read this bottom part, and here's why. Because I'm not going to endorse the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization. I've seen too many horror stories, and I don't have enough of the facts. And I know that there's some well-funded agendas in this world that I'm not going to support. This example here is an example, but I'm not going to say it and support it. And another thing too, I want to talk about with the power of collaboration and ignite change. You all don't rely on other people to help you gather. Be the one that brings people together. You be the one to bring your community together. Don't wait for other businesses. Don't wait for your government, and don't wait for NGOs to come do it. Like, if you're the one that has the burning in your heart to unite people and bring about change, the change that you want to see in the world, if that's you, these tools that I'm talking about today are for you. Media controls the narrative. And even though right now there's a few companies that seem to have all the power, I'm telling you it's changing. Your stories, especially yours there in Africa, matter more to the rest of the world than ever before. They need to know your stories. They need to learn from you. The value that you all have for the rest of the world is so significant. And so using these tools are going to help you. You all get to dream bigger. Like, you can be global change makers, and it starts right there in Africa. It starts there in Nigeria. Your stories matter. And the world is dying to hear stories like this because, frankly, some of the lessons that you can teach the rest of us can change our lives. And guess what? There's value in that. Your stories, your lives, your message, and your life experience has value to people all over the world. And media is the vehicle that you get to deliver that to. All right, next slide. I get preachy about this stuff. I've seen it change lives. I know the impact it can have. It's in my own life, and I didn't go into my story because I don't have time for that. But this has been my vehicle that saved my life, that changed my life, that even while being disabled, I still had opportunities because of media. And again, I'm not going to go into my story right now, but I'm telling you all, like, these same tools can change, that can just dramatically change your life, your family's life, your community's life, and then ultimately the world. So how media and collaboration can benefit the collective and the individual. The power of media has never been more evident than it is today. Social media platforms, digital storytelling, podcasts, streaming video, the array of free and low-cost outlets available is staggering. These platforms allow us to share our stories, highlight our successes, and crowdsource solutions to pressing issues. When used collaboratively, media can also bring communities together, foster dialogue, and inspire collective problem solving. Look at Giving Tuesday, that Giving Tuesday movement as a prime example. The Global Day of Giving, fueled by social media, encourages individuals and organizations to come together to raise funds and awareness for various charitable causes. Revitalizing communities within. Communities are best revitalized from the inside out. When local individuals are given the chance to tell their own stories and harness their own resources, they begin to create solutions tailored specifically for their environment. This is where the concept of media company in a box can be transformative. Imagine a small farming cooperative in a remote village. They have limited infrastructure, but a wealth of local expertise. This is what I'm talking about. You guys have such a wealth of expertise and knowledge in things that the Western world has no clue about. Anyway, so the wealth of local expertise, resilience, and a desire to share their products with a wider market. With a smartphone, a modest internet connection, and a free content production platform, they could film their farming process, share unique local stories, and build a global following. It's happening now. It's all over the internet. The role of intellectual property. Now, this may not sound like the sexiest subject in the world for you all to hear, but this is the most important thing for you to hear. Intellectual property is the one thing that you can own that no one can take from you unless you give it to them. This is the most important subject moving forward. It's like, if you think of Agenda 2030, you think of the next 10 years, you think about the fourth industrial revolution, you think about AI, you think about jobs, likeness, image, all these things. It comes back to intellectual property. This is a very, very important subject. So the role of intellectual property in protecting innovation. In the world of social entrepreneurship and media empowerment, intellectual property is often overlooked, yet it is fundamental to sustaining innovation. IP protection ensures that the creative efforts, inventions, and unique processes developed by individuals or groups are safeguarded against unauthorized use. Consider the Tekla Company in Argentina. A group of indigenous artisans developed unique textile designs rooted in century-old traditions. Initially, these were copied by external fashion brands without permission or fair compensation. This can happen to you. Like these ideas, these one of the things that I've been blown away with in the last 10 years that I've been able to teach with different groups in Africa, The thing that I've always been so blown away is your stewardship. In other words, being able to do more with less. It's inspiring to me. And part of those, I can't even say that word, but that ingeniousness, that creative to find a way to create musical instruments out of trash, or things that have been thrown on the side of the road. Like that alone has been that's amazing to me. The way that people will find a way to become filmmakers, even with no budget or not having access to normal equipment that they would use in Hollywood, still finding a way. That is so inspiring. Like, just imagine what it's going to be like when you have infrastructure and the resources. But the skill set and the things that you've learned in that outside of the box thinking, that's going to give you such an advantage over the rest of the world. So you protecting your ideas is critical. In America and the rest of the world, where they started podcasts and TVs and movies and all this stuff, and they just put it on social media, or they would write these really beautiful long blogs, and that could have easily been turned into a book. Like, people just give that stuff away, not realizing they're throwing money out the window. You all have an amazing opportunity to protect your intellectual property. And with this idea of media and using media for revenue streams and community building, you can do something really, really special that no one can take from you. But you got to protect your intellectual property. All right. This is my favorite part of the whole section, and it's the halfway point. Free media tools and the bridge to empowerment. Thanks to the digital revolution, free and low-cost media tools have become widely accessible to virtually anyone with an internet connection. From Canva to graphic design, Anchor, which is really Spotify now, for podcast creation, YouTube for video broadcasting, these platforms require minimal overhead. This is the essence of media company in a box. The idea that you don't need a multi-million-dollar studio or highly paid production teams to make a global impact. All you need is the right mindset, a solid plan, and a willingness to learn. There's so many. Springtree. Springtree is a website platform that you can use to create merchandise. You can go to Canva, create a logo for free, go to Springtree or another platform like that, create merchandise, and sell merchandise. Like, you don't even need money up front to do it. You literally could create your own media company with no money, just using tools that are available to all of us. Do you make as much money? No. But you can start out that way. You can start out using the free tools and then graduate to platforms where you can own and host all your own content. Or you can buy the merchandise up front, so then you can make more money. Like, the options are there, but the point I'm trying to make is you don't need money to take place in this. You do not need money to play in this marketplace, to take advantage of this new economy. We live in a creator's economy. We live in a creator's economy, and the creator created us to create. That's good news for all of us. All right. Number 8, practical steps to protect IP while using media tools. This is more important. This is so important because a lot of people in America that started podcasts and other things have no idea what they've given away. And it hasn't come to, the consequences haven't really been revealed too much yet, but it's going to be. So this is very important. You might wonder, how do I protect my intellectual property if I'm also sharing it so widely online? This is one way you can do that, by sharing it everywhere. First step is to understand the types of IP protection available: copyrights, trademarks, patents, and trade secrets. Next, clearly label and attribute your work in every piece of media you share. When posting videos or photos, include watermarks or brand identifiers. Keep records of when and how you created your work, especially if it's original. You will thank me later for that. Consider Aisha, a student at a Nigerian university who dreamed of launching her own podcast to spotlight local innovators. She had a minimal resources but a strong vision. With nothing more than a smartphone, a free audio editing app, and social media, she began recording interviews. Within weeks, her podcast started gaining traction. She learned about branding, designed a simple logo using Canva, and was soon collaborating on community projects. And each step was documented with proper credit, ensuring her IP was protected. Anyone can do that. It takes an extra 5 seconds to do. It's worth the time. All right, maybe this is my favorite part of it. Empowering natural gifts and talents. Every individual has a constellation of gifts and talents and life experiences that shape their unique perspective on the world. Recognizing and harnessing these gifts is crucial, not only for personal fulfillment, but also social benefit. Seek out people who can offer constructive feedback on your ideas and who can provide emotional support when challenges arise. By doing so, you're cultivating a community of people who believe in your vision. God blessed every one of you with gifts and talents. You did nothing to deserve them. You were given them. And those God-given gifts are for you to use to provide value to the world. Part of that value can be sharing how you overcame. Part of that value is how to do anything, for that matter. It could be singing, it could be your art, it could be your writing, it could be your voice, it could be your poetry, it could be anything. You know what your gifts and talents are. You could be a world famous soccer player or football. I don't know if you all call it football or soccer in Africa, but yeah, we have American football and football, the soccer version. Like whatever it is. You could be dancing. Like all of you have these amazing gifts, and media is the vehicle for you to showcase those gifts and talents and life experiences to provide value to.
We call it football.
Yeah, there you go. Football, perfect. Thank you. It's more fun to say football than it is football. So, but you all have these amazing gifts that you were given, and they're all unique and they're all special. Especially when you mix it with all your life experience. And like, you never run out of things to create when you're really tapped into what you were created for. And media gives you that opportunity to express it. And the beautiful thing about all of it is that you don't have to mind anyone else's rules. This is freedom. The thing about ultimately, what I want everyone to get to is a place where they're all about building their own platform, where they're showcasing their unique talents and gifts and showcasing multiple businesses they have. And you just create your own little world on your platform, kind of like the social media companies do. You know, social media creates a platform that no one wants to leave. Well, we should be creating those platforms for ourselves. They don't need to be big and extravagant and cost billions of dollars. I mean, they don't really even have to cost anything. You can create community on your own platforms. But the only way to really accomplish that is by fully showcasing who you are. And whether you want to do that now or not, the truth is we're going into a world where there's not going to be many secrets anyway. And the new part of the new economy is showcasing all of who you are. And that means that your pain, the hell that you've gone through to survive, to overcome, to fight through addiction, to deal with maybe not having, parents, maybe losing them to war, or maybe losing them to disease or like there's all kinds of different things that happen in this world. But yet here you are, still breathing, still living. So clearly God has a purpose for you. Clearly, you have something of value to offer the world. Media is the vehicle that's going to help you do that and do it in a way that feels the best to you. You don't have to succumb to what other people think is right for you. Do what your spirit is telling you to do. And media is like it allows you to do all that. That's why I'm so passionate about this. I never felt normal. I never felt like I belonged anywhere. I mean, mind you, I've had some quirky mental issues, but still, it's a bad feeling. But media helped me find my tribe, helped me find my people. It also allowed me to create in a way that I felt empowered. And then ultimately found out that it was empowering other people too. Like, you all have an opportunity to change the world. And I believe it starts in Africa. I believe the world healing comes from the stories out of Africa. The true stories. Not the ones that we see here at midnight, telling us to, never mind, I'm going to go off on a tangent I don't want to go down. But the point is this. None of us really know anything about you. We know what the news tells us. I know what I know just from my experience of getting to teach, but I still don't know. There's so much to learn. The world is dying for your stories. I truly believe that your story is getting out to the world in whatever capacity you deliver it. I think you can play a massive role in changing the world for the better. Especially those that live very selfish, greedy, narcissistic lives and think that they don't have anything. They complain about, like, they never focus on the things that they do have, and yet they're surrounded by clean water and a home and all kinds of things, and yet they don't count their blessings. They don't know what it's like to be a good steward. I believe that your stories can have a huge impact on the world. Anyway, the ripple effect, changing the world for the better. We've talked about uplifting underserved communities, collaboration, media empowerment, and IP protection. How do these elements collectively change the world for the better? The answer lies in the ripple effect. When even one community is transformed, their success serve as a blueprint for others. Moreover, when people witness positive outcomes, they become more inclined to offer resources, knowledge, and partnerships. It only takes one of you to step up to change your community. It only takes one. But if 2 or 3 of you do it, this is what I mean when I say you have the impact, the opportunity to change the world. It's bigger than sustainability. It's bigger than it's life. It's freedom. It's the difference of saving, somebody that has mental health issues or someone that's suicidal. Like like the lives that can be changed, the empowerment. I remember a time when I was going to commit suicide. The day I was going to commit suicide, a little over 11 years ago. I was on my way out, had lost everything. Like I had all this money in the bank, lost everything, was zero, was going to be homeless. I mean, I did end up being homeless, but I was done. I was just like given up, just tired of battling mental health issues and addiction issues. And I just was like, I was going to go out with a bunch of drugs and it wasn't going to be pretty. I'll never forget the phone call I got offering me an opportunity. If I wouldn't have said yes to that, I'm pretty sure I'd have been dead. But that opportunity ended up setting the stage for me because, then, 11 years ago, I had no experience in media, had never been in a movie, never been on a TV show, never acted, never produced an event, never had a talk show, none of that, never acted in commercials, never had done any of that. Me answering the phone that day and saying yes to that opportunity is what has allowed me to now win 10 film festivals, be a best-selling author in 4 countries, completely rehabilitate my life, have opportunity, even when losing the ability to speak for almost a year because I understood media. I wrote 8 books, was able to continue having revenue coming in, even though I lost my main source of income. But it just changed my life. It's like everything I do now, the Bridge to Media Empowerment Centers, all the next things in my life, like it happened because that day I said yes to the opportunity. And I'm not selling you anything. So the opportunity I speak of is not like a sales pitch here. The opportunity is to seize your destiny, to answer the call. Because if you haven't answered the call to your purpose yet, you're denying why you exist in the first place. And so the ripple effect, it only takes a couple people. It takes one person to step up, and then that one person's going to attract someone else. But if 2, 3, 4 of you start to rise up together and stand in truth and stand in your purpose and live your purpose and pursue it, not only is that going to help change your community, I think it's the most pleasing thing we can ever do for God, is to live in the purpose He created us for. A vision of an empowered future. Let us imagine a future in which every individual, regardless of their background, has the tools, network, and legal framework to bring their dreams to life. Picture a world where the stories of underserved communities are told by the communities themselves, captivating global audiences. Why in the world are people in Hollywood telling the stories of people in Africa? The stories about Africa should be coming from Africa. Because when Hollywood tells the stories, they Hollywood it up. In other words, it's not true. It's propaganda. But you have the opportunity to tell the true stories of what happened, what happens in Africa. Not only can you revive the legacies of your forefathers, you can leave a legacy yourself, telling real stories. Like, I didn't talk about the Gates Foundation and that slide over there because I know that a lot of people have suffered and died with their experimentations. I'm not going to be real supportive of that. I know that they're credited with a lot of good work, but there's a lot of questions to ask. But the thing is, I don't know the truth because I don't trust the media in the United States. But if I actually was able to hear the stories of people there, maybe that would change things. Maybe the rest of the world would know. For too long, we've had leaders placed in positions to speak for us. But are they really speaking what we want to be said? Are your leaders that are elected speaking the message you want shared? If the answer is no, the news for you today is you have the power to change it. You have the power to change what you do not like about the life that you live. If you don't want someone else speaking for you, then start speaking. If you don't know how, well, I've got good news for you. These futures might sound ambitious, but it's far from impossible. We see the seeds of this reality in every new social startup, every initiative aimed at telling untold stories, and every legal breakthrough protecting cultural knowledge. We live in a day and age now that people that are in wheelchairs have the same opportunities. They are not, hold on, let me rephrase that. If you're disabled physically and you're in a wheelchair, use a walker, use a cane, you're in a power wheelchair, you have cerebral palsy, you have ALS, you have muscular dystrophy. Before, we didn't have the tools unless if you went to like an assistive technology professional and yada, yada, yada. But the technology still wasn't really there to help people in those types of situations be able to really take place in media and the economy that media creates. Now with technology and AI, those possibilities are there. Even when I lost my voice, I had already cloned my voice. So I was still able to do voice projects, but it wasn't really me talking. Like, there's endless possibilities now. And where there's a will, there's a way, because odds are there's a technology that will do it for you if you are not able. That's kind of awesome when you understand media. And you all are about to understand media in a big way when I give you your free gift. So, practical takeaways and next steps. So you want to so before we conclude, let's solidify some practical steps. You want to identify underserved opportunities. So look for gaps in resources, education, and technology. If you see the problem, what's the solution? I believe that we're all solution finders. It's like hardwired in our DNA. I believe you all are great. You're probably better than the rest of the world at solution finding because you're so resourceful, in my experience and what I've seen. So, what are the gaps in resources in your community? What are the gaps in education in your community? I know one, it's media literacy, even though you all are more media literate than Americans are. That is a fact, which is still shocks me to this day, but it's true. What are the gaps in technology? Prioritize collaboration. This is why it's important for you to start sharing your truth, because you want to seek out like-minded individuals and institutions. How do you know that they're like-minded? Because you hear their message. You see their message. The truth will attract your tribe. If you want to find your community, your real community, your real people, your real friends, start speaking the truth. You will see how many people run away from you, but you will see the right people come to you. You want to leverage free media tools. In the free gift that I give you, it has every media tool you can imagine listed throughout the book that you can use for free with some money or a lot of money. My point in bringing this up is it's an amazing resource for you to tap into. And there's tons of media tools that you probably have never heard of. And there's some that aren't listed, of course, because there's so many now. But this book that your giveaway, which is right below here, on this link I'm going to give you all, this is a resource manual for you to use. And it will teach you everything you need to know about how to operate a media organization with no money. But there's much more in it than that. You want to protect your intellectual property? You want to value your God-given natural gifts and talents. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let your gift shine. They're meant to be celebrated by the world. Scale your impact. Document your success, share widely, and replicate what works. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't say that you don't have enough money or what you have is not good enough. You are not trying to please man. If you try to please man, you will fail, and fail in a way that you'll never succeed. If you seek to please your creator by harnessing and using your gifts to bless other people, to provide value, not only will you feel closer to the creator and you'll be living your purpose, but the mistakes that you make are not mistakes. They're learning lessons. It's part of the refining. It's part of shaping you. When you take a step in faith that is a truly, I'm doing this because I'm led to, this is what I'm being prompted to do. Those mistakes aren't mistakes. Those failures are not real failures. And you'll know that when you get up and do it again and you do it a little bit better. Or you may fail again, but you have the urge to get back up. That's because you're being lifted back up. If you fail trying to go on your own way, that's outside of God, outside of what you were created for, those failures hurt a lot worse. Because that's when you fall in the ditch and don't know how to get out. I've been there too. It sucks. Not to get preachy with you. All right. Final thoughts. Empowerment is contagious. When one person steps into their full potential, it creates a spark that can ignite entire communities. By using media strategically and collaborating with diverse partners, we can shape a future where underserved communities are active participants in tomorrow's world. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your commitment to making a difference. We stand on the brink of an era where collective action, amplified by media and safeguarded by intellectual property rights, can break barriers and unlock human potential like never before. Thank you. Oh, I should give you this book, this presentation here. I don't know if you can see it in the chat. Here's the link. You can copy and paste that. Your free gift is there. All of you can use it. The book is there, but there's other free resources on the website for you to take advantage of. Tons of education. But this book will set you up. This book will set you up for the future. It's being taught in universities, in high schools all over the world, and it works if you use it. It's a full spectrum approach, and it will set you up literally to monetize anything that you want through media. My platform can be accessed at that website I just gave you. The PowerPoint presentation, I just made a web page. So the book, the presentation, it's all right there, and it's attached to my platform. And also, that's a lesson. This is actually for you all. I did this for a reason. One, I thought it was ridiculous to give you a PowerPoint that wasn't attached to my website. When you're creating content, when you create content, any of you, and you put it on social media, you should be promoting your website with it. Your website is the one platform that you own. That's your digital real estate. Your website is more important than any other platform that exists that you use. And that's where you would build your own platform. And when you do a presentation, or you write a book, or you create a movie, or you create a podcast, or a TV show, or a movie, you should host it on your website. As crazy as that may sound to you, read my book and understand why it won't be, why it isn't crazy. And all the studies and research are included in the book that you can see for yourself. Is there any questions? Oh, please explain the application. That's a question's up for me. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate your time and your presentation. So, if anyone has questions to ask, so we will be given out 5 minutes for question and answer.
There was a question about trusting the media. Well, you should research, like if you want to understand why you don't trust the media in America, research Operation Mockingbird. And it's a real thing, and it lies. It lied during the pandemic. It lied all the time. I mean, it lies to this day. And no side of it's good. It's meant to keep us at war with each other. They lie all the time. I'm the crazy person, like when the news says something, I'll write it down just to go, I wonder if they're going to change their mind. Sure enough, they do. Like you can go through Internet Archive and look at old news stories and see how much they lie. It's deceiving. They're having to come out now and say they lied about COVID. Like, they lied about Donald Trump's first election and Russia and all these other things. Like, they're just nonstop lying. It's propaganda. And I don't know how it affects the rest of the world, but I can speak to American citizens, and we all hate each other. I mean, I don't mean that literally. Well, America's very divided, and it's because of all of the propaganda, and it comes from every angle. That's why independent media is so important. Why the propaganda is projected against Africa? Why must media lie against Africa? That's a good question. And look, they lied about, I don't know the whole truth about Gaddafi, but from my understanding, he wanted to break away from the Federal Reserve and from what I understand about what he wanted to do for his people, like it was a good thing, but it was in defiance of the financial system the way it is now. They wanted them. This is like the same crap Hitler did, what NATO does. Like, I could totally get why Africa has been throwing out the United States military. Like, it's disgusting. And I know that minerals have been, robbed from Africa. Gold has been robbed from Africa. And I don't know who all's guilty. Is it all the American government? Is it corporations? Does Russia do it too? Does China do it? I don't know. But I do know that there's some shady stuff that our government has done there. I know that they've funded, the wars and the uprisings, and that's what they do. They're doing it in the Middle East too. As an American, I don't really consider myself American. I'm more of a global citizen. But, it's hard to be, I don't wave the American flag saying, "Oh, I'm so proud," because we've been in power by doing some god-awful things to people. And it starts with propaganda. And the fact is that we don't know the truth about Africa. We have assumptions, but even as much as I get to work with people in Africa, I don't know the truth either. Like, I need to be educated. That's why y'all's stories matter so much. Like, we need to know. And from a selfish standpoint, the truth is you all can profit from it. And you should. Think about how many Americans or people that were non-Africans have made money on stories about Africa. Think about it. Think about all the American nonprofits that have come there, the different ministries. Think about all the money from outside of Africa that's been made on Africa. That should piss you off. That should make you want to tell your stories as much as anything else. Is it that Africans are dangerous if liberated? Well, okay, so let me answer the question like this. Oh, why the use of World Bank to hold Africa to ransom? Those are really great questions, because it's all about slavery. We are slaves in America, just in a way that most Americans don't realize. You all still deal with the type of slavery that I don't ever want to imagine, but unfortunately know about. I know about organ harvesting. I know about those things. I don't know the full details. I know about brick kiln slavery and other forms of labor slavery and human trafficking. And there's some god-awful things that go on. And the whole world is guilty of it. And it's not even possible without governments. So everyone's in on the take. There's corruption everywhere. But the one thing that they all fear more than anything, and that's the truth. And the truth is hard to come by, except for when we tell our own stories. And it's our own stories that not only will help set our own selves free, but it'll set others free too. So if enough people start sharing the truth, as painful as it may be for people to hear, and upsetting and disruptive as it is to hear, the truth is that the truth will set people free. It'll break you in a million freaking pieces first. But then you'll be set free. I'm challenging every one of you to start sharing your stories without fear, without compromise. You have no idea the impact that you all can have on the world. And I'm speaking like directly to you, all of you that are on this call. You know a pain and a life, but you also know a joy that some of us will never know. Because I don't believe that you can know joy until you know what real suffering is. And I would imagine, whether it was yourself or your ancestors or generations very close to you, you're still feeling that pain. There's generational suffering that's happening in America, and we've been a free country for how long? So I can only imagine what it's like. But y'all stories matter. All right, so how do we manage the propaganda and make our own market space on social media? Well, you should do it on your own platforms, and that's what the book I gave you is for. That book is a weapon. If you use it, it'll weaponize you in a good way. Not with AK-47s or atomic bombs or any of that other stuff, but sincerely, it'll equip you. Media is a weapon. It's been used to hurt us, so it can be used to enlighten us too. That's why your stories matter. All right.
So thank you so much. That will be all for the question. We really appreciate you, Joshua. Thank you so much. Because of the time, we are unable to make an introduction about this speaker. I would like to call Mubarak to do that for